really don't like the external sheathing on this cable because it doesn't seem to flex enough. So I'm going to take it off and I'm going to put some braided, rightly or wrongly, some of this braided to make the cables flex better. The easiest way I've found to get it off is to get a sharp Stanley knife and very, very gently just score the outside. So I'm not cutting, I'm scoring a line. And then it will just split. Oh, you can't see, then it will just split off. So this might be a tricky bit. So what am I going to do here? I'm going to see whether this will pull out. Yes, it just pulls out. So then I'm just going to put it down, score the outside. So there's no chance of cutting the cable. So yeah, it's a very light score line. Oh, there's a very light score line there. And then that will just come off. So that's that. So, you know, this is, you know, quite stiff really. So that's what I didn't like about that. So I'm going to, this is the cable going across the gantry. So I'm going to do this one first and see how I get on. So I'm going to now cut this to length. I'm going to cut this with a sharp pair of scissors. I'm then going to burn the ends so they stop fraying, and then I'm going to push the connectors through. This is 15mm braid, so it's going to be ample and easy to get these connectors through. So I'll come back once that's done and we'll see then how well the cables bend across the gantry. So here's my messy working area. Right, to get the heat shrink over the braided hose tube, the easy way is to use some electrical tape, because it's still fuzzy. Although I've burnt the edges, it's still fuzzy. So if you do that and squash it around, and then the tube, it's sticky because it's sticking on the silicone tubing. And it's easy to slide over the braid, slide it down and take the tape off. Job done. So I'm going to press on and try and get this mounted and then come back. So at the moment in my temporary enclosure, which is a cardboard box just covering the back of the laser, I've got a standard 100mm ceiling mounted bathroom extract fan, and it's really not man enough. So when I'm lasering here, you don't really see the smoke being sucked up in there. So I'm now going to connect the new inline 150mm and see how that does. So I'm adjusting my cables again, so I find it easier to push the cables through the braided cover, put masking tape over the sharp connectors, and then you can push it through quite easily. So that is my welded end, and I've already put heat shrink further down the line ready to make it look nice. The hardest thing is, because I've chosen to use silicone hose, the silicone does grip onto the braided hose a little bit, but you can just concertina it down. So push from the front, it expands, it goes over the masking tape. It makes your life so much easier. Tricks of the trade once you know. Except now the silicone hose has been caught down the end, so I need to go back and try and thread that through. So I'm further down here now. The silicone hose is where, because it's clear I can't see it, it's actually here, so it's not too far away. So again, just press the hose down and then grip the silicone. So I'm pressing in front of the silicone, then gripping the silicone and letting the braided hose go down, and then put it through. So I've actually made the braided hose longer than what it was, because now I've introduced these brackets. There's going to be one here and one on the left hand edge. You can just see on the left hand edge here, just needed a little bit more braided hose. So so that's just over 24 inches or 600mm at the moment, but I'm likely to cut this end down once I've got the cables where I want, but we'll see. But this is just to give an idea of how to do it. So more with this cable management, I think the way that these cables are going to come through, I'm going to redesign this bracket to turn 90 degrees, and I think this stepper motor connection wants to either go at the top or the side. So I'm just going to remove the bolts from the stepper motor and then turn it around. So this is what I've come up with for the moment. I've, strange enough, moved the cables to the front of the gantry. You'll notice I've turned my stepper motor around to give me extra length on the cables when the gantry is moving backwards and forwards. And here is a bit of a lash up at the moment, but what I've done is, as you know, I've turned the stepper motor upwards and I've temporarily cable tied a piece of PU tubing, like stiff plastic air tubing, but I'm going to have to make a bracket, and that's suspending the cables here at the moment to stop them dropping. So at the moment it's just 6mm OD and 4mm ID plastic tubing, which is normally used for air assist. But say you could, you know, possibly use a coat hanger or something. Plastic is better, but at the moment it's slightly getting caught on the cog on the stepper motor, so there's a cable tie wrapped around the top here pulling it up. So it is temporary. Once I've worked out a good solution, I manufacture some form of bracket, but I think this curvature is important because when the gantry comes to the left, you can see what the cables are doing. The cables will miss one another here. When this is upright, the cables won't touch, so that's why I moved the cables to the front. I think I'm getting somewhere, but it's all R&D development. Yeah, I'll come back to you when I've got something good. So I have now cut like a kidney shaped bracket on the back to hold my PU tube, so it's nowhere near hitting the cog for the stepper motor. PU tube now fastens to the 3mm piece of ply. There's still room here for when I do my Z lift for this wire to go up and down. This wire and this wire is ready for a new stepper motor and limit switch. Then at this end I've created a bracket that fits onto one bolt of the wheel and then one bolt here, and I've used cable ties at the moment just to secure it. I've put a piece of cardboard here because when the cables come to the front I need to make sure they don't get caught on the bump stop. So this is a sort of a temporary solution, but the height and the type of bracket is fine for what I'm doing. Using cable ties, I've got to now just cut off this part of the sheathing and put the braided outer cover on all these wires to make them fold nicely. I'm trying to not use a what do they call it, a cable tray type of arrangement, because not everybody's got a 3D printer, so I'm trying to do as many things as I can to not involve a 3D printer. Anyway, I am making good progress, and here we have the new cable with the mounts here and here in operation. I'm just going to move it slowly by hand because it does create a back voltage into the laser assembly. You can notice the way the cable is folding back nicely, and the PU tube bends it back here and the cables go under one another. This may just have to be made 10 or 20mm higher, but at the moment it's perfectly functional. And this cable is not stretching, it's given me now extra length on this cable to hopefully fit in my enclosure without extending the cable to the control panel. Probably the next video is going to be on trying to quieten down this air pump, and you can see I've done some amendments to this air pump, those that recognise it. I have made it slightly quieter, not so much by reducing the noise as per the sound meter, but definitely listening to the pump is quieter. Many thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. You might like to watch some of these videos popping up on your screen now. Let me know what you think in the comments.